Welcome back to Literally Yours. So, this is the third video in continuation of the poem A Doctor's Journal Entry for August 6, 1945. In the previous two videos, which will be linked in the description for you, we have discussed the context of the poem, the lines of the poem, and the poetic devices. So, without any further delay, we are going to finish the poem today, discussing the poem today line by line, as well as again discuss the poetic devices. So let us start. So before this, we had discussed in two parts about what had happened to the doctor, how he's remembering it or writing it down in his journal one after the other. He was relaxing on his bed, and then all of a sudden, something happens. Two flashes are seen, and he is not able to understand what happens, and immediately the roof collapses, the wall collapses, and he's dislodged into the garden, heavily injured. And then he looks for his wife, and they both exit from that garden, from that area, to go for the hospital. And while they're going, while they are exiting the place, they stumble and fall, and they see that what they have stumbled upon is actually a head which has been severed. The man is dead, a gate has crushed him, and they are very much shocked to see such a scene, horrified to see such a scene. And then just in front of them, a building also crashes, fire springs up. All of this is happening all together, one after the other, in very quickly, and they're not able to understand what is happening, to process what is happening. And they have gone a little slow, like their logical processing is a little slow, because such a traumatic incident has just now happened, right? So they finally realize that they are very much heavily injured and they need to go to the hospital. But while they are going to the hospital, the doctor's legs, they give way, they give up, and he's feeling very much thirsty, and he feels as if he'll not be able to continue any further. But somehow he regains his strength back and he stands up again. So from here we are going to start now. So he says, I was still naked. Remember that he had, all his undershirt and his pant had disappeared. So he now remembers, he now realizes that, he's still naked. I was still naked, but I felt no shame. He was not feeling ashamed of it. This thought disturbed me somewhat, like this thought that he is not ashamed of his nakedness right in front of everyone outside in the open. This thought is really disturbing to him. Why am I not feeling any shame even though I'm naked in front of everyone, right? So this thought disturbed me somewhat till I came upon a soldier standing silently, who gave the towel round his neck to me. So this thought was really going on and on in his head, that I am not feeling any shame, I'm naked, I'm outside, I'm going to the hospital. It is a very disturbing, confusing thought to him. Why am I not feeling any shame? But then he comes across a soldier, silent soldier, who had a towel around his neck, and he took out the towel and gave it to the narrator, the doctor. So now he has something to cover himself. So what these lines show is, again, the humanitarian aspect, that even in the face of such a chaos, such a dangerous situation, such a big level of destruction, people have not forgotten, out of in that all that trauma, all that processing, all that chaos going on, people have not forgotten their humanitarian side. The soldier comes to help and gives a towel to this narrator to cover himself up, right? So moving forward, my legs, stiff with dried blood, rebelled. I said to Yeko-san, she must go on ahead. She did not wish to, but in our distress, what choice had we? A dreadful loneliness came over me when she had gone. My mind ran at high speed, my body crept behind. So here what is happening, while this whole scene has happened, he has covered himself up. Now he's again trying to move forward, going to the hospital, but again the same thing happens. His legs are now stiff with dried blood. He's not able to continue further. So what happens, he's saying that my legs, they rebelled. Again, a personification over here, we'll discuss in detail later on. So he says my legs rebelled, they do not want to go any further, they cannot. I said to Yeko-san she must go on ahead. So now he realizes that now he seriously cannot move on further. He needs someone to help him, and the thought, clicks to him that Yeko-san is still less injured than him, so Yeko-san can move forward and go to the hospital, maybe call for help, right? So he says, that you should go forward. But the wife, obviously, like a dutiful wife, loving wife, she did not wish to. She does not want to leave her husband in such a state, where he cannot continue and go further and receive the treatment. What if he is not able to come back with anyone, right? So she is worried. She doesn't want to go. But they realize that in such a distress situation, they do not have any choice. That at least out of the two, if any one survives, maybe they can, at least try to help the other person. Maybe, right? It's all maybe, all a confusion. We do not know whether both of them will survive or not. What exactly will happen, it's not sure. So at least in that distressful situation, the only choice that they have is that Yeko-san moves forward without the doctor, right? So she decides to leave. Finally, the doctor convinces her and she leaves. And as soon as she leaves, he's saying a dreadful loneliness came over me. Again, a personification. Loneliness settles upon him. He feels very lonely without his wife present there, trying to comfort him or support him. So he feels that he is feeling the dread now. Like when we are with someone who has the ability to comfort us, our pain reduces. But as soon as that person leaves, we feel that dread coming to us again. So whatever has happened, the whole turmoil, it starts to settle on him. He starts feeling very dreadful and he starts feeling very lonely. My mind ran at high speed. So his mind is constantly, because of the trauma, he's trying to process what has happened. His mind is running at high speed, but his body is creeping behind. Again, it is a personification and it's a comparison of what is happening. He, as a person, as a human being, because of his bodily injuries, he has become slow, but his mind is running at high speed. When something such traumatic thing happens, our mind keeps on running, and mind keeps on thinking what to do, what will happen, etc. Panic, anxiety sets in. So that's why it is being said the mind is running at high speed. It is also a personification. So that is what we have come till here. We have come here. So let us discuss the words again. So we have distress, a situation that is chaotic. A chaotic situation, a very confusing situation is called a distressful situation, or just a distress, right? Then we have dreadful, full of pain and misery. It's a miserable situation. It's a situation where you're feeling a lot of pain, both emotional and physical. So that is a dreadful situation. And crept, which is the V3 form of creep actually. So crept is to move slowly. So the body was moving very slowly because of the injuries. Let's move forward with the lines. I saw the shadowy forms of people. Some were ghosts, some scarecrows, all were wordless dumb. Arms stretched straight out, shoulder to dangling hand. It took some time for me to understand. The friction on their burns caused so much pain, they feared to shaft flesh against flesh again. So while he is feeling dreadfully lonely, he starts to imagine all the people. Obviously we can imagine that everyone has gone through the same situation, right? It's an atomic bomb that has been that has exploded in Hiroshima. So there are people, other people on the street. So while he's feeling that dreadful loneliness, he starts to imagine that the other people who are also on the street, probably walking to the hospital, they are like shadowy forms, like ghosts, right? So he imagines them as ghosts, scarecrows. If you have ever looked at a scarecrow, scarecrow has very ragged clothes, torn clothes, and a very ragged looking face. It is used to scare the crows away, scare the birds away from a field, right? So he compares, it's a metaphor, he compares all these people with scarecrows and ghosts. They are just there, they are looking very scary. They are just like how we will get scared if we see a ghost or a spirit, right? So he's also getting scared when he's looking at all these people with such ragged clothes and all such injuries, right? They're looking dreadful. So it actually contributes to that feeling of dread that he's feeling when he sees all these people, right? And then he's noticing that they are all wordless, dumb, they are not speaking. Generally when people are out on the streets, there will be some kind of social interaction, but here the people are just like a silent spirit or ghost or a silent scarecrow. They are all just walking like zombies. If you have ever seen a zombie in your modern media, zombies are portrayed as hands outstretched, right, like this. So this is a comparison that he draws, that they are like zombies, their hands are outstretched, and they are all wordlessly just traveling, going towards the hospital. Arms stretched out, shoulder to dangling hand. So here with from the shoulder joint, probably the hand is just dangling somehow. They are very heavily injured. The hand is just sticking with some amount of muscle or sinew, right? So he's seeing all these horrific scenes in front of them, and it takes him some time to understand that why they are having the hands outstretched like a zombie, like a ghost, is because their muscles, their skin is exposed and it's burnt all over. So if they keep their hands stuck to their body, the flesh will stick to flesh, and it will cause even more friction, even more pain than they are already in. They are already in so much of pain. They do not want to cause even more pain by keeping their hands stuck to their body, because if they do so, their whole body, the whole skin to skin or muscle to muscle, it will just stick together because of the injuries. So they are fearing that that will happen. That's why their hands are outstretched like that. So it is a very, very dreadful, horrific scene that he's seeing, that these people are moving wordlessly like ghosts and scarecrows towards the hospital. So let's write down the words. We have um, dumb. The word dumb means inability to speak. So all these people have lost the ability to speak. So the next word we have is dangling. The word dangling means hanging. Then we have chaff or chafe. It means to rub against something, causing um discomfort. So we often chafe our skin when there's a lot of friction between our clothes, between our clothes and the body part. So here the chafing is being done because the chafing is being done from muscle, between muscles and muscle, right, in like exposed muscle, exposed skin to skin, right. So that is the meaning of chafe. So that is all. Moving forward, the last part of the poem, it says, those who could shuffled in a blank parade towards the hospital. I saw, dismayed, a woman with a child stand in my path, both naked. Had they come back from a bath? So the doctor now again, he notices that people are shuffling in a blank parade. Here he has used irony. Parade is something that is always taken out, a group of people, a procession is always taken out on a happy occasion, but here he's using the word parade for such a dismaying situation, such a destructive aftermath situation, right. So he's saying that those who could walk, they were shuffling, they were walking in a blank parade towards the hospital. Blank, the word blank parade here means that they are all having blank expressions on their faces. They're not having any kind of emotions that they are showing. Now he again got very distraught and dismayed when he saw a woman and a child both naked standing in his path, and he is confused that why are they both naked like that. He's wondering whether they have come back from a bath, right. So in Japan people have public baths, and from so he is imagining, or he's wondering whether these two the woman and the child have come back from a bath, and that's why they're naked. He's not sure, right. And he's very dismayed. He's trying to turn away his gaze. He's not looking at them because he's getting very distraught by that scene. So then he says, I turned my gaze but was at a loss that she should stand thus till I came across a naked man. And now the thought arose that some strange thing had stripped us of our clothes. So, he obviously, as I said, he was very dismayed at the scene of that woman and the child both naked. So he turns his gaze, he doesn't look at them, he's avoiding eye contact. And he was at a loss of words. What should I say in such a situation, such a confusing situation? Why are they standing in my way in such a state? And he was at a loss of words because of the situation that she was standing in that way, right. And then he comes across another naked man, and finally the thought dawns on him that something has happened, something strange has happened that has made all their clothes disappear from their bodies. So because of that impact of that atomic bomb, we can assume maybe because of that the clothes have disappeared from their body. Then the last part, the very last four lines, which are very powerful, very poignant. He says, the face of an old woman on the ground was marred with suffering, but she made no sound. Silence was common to us all. I heard no cries of anguish or a single word. So he's saying that he, after he came across and he realized that something strange has happened that has stripped us of our clothes. He's saying that I saw, just after that I saw a face of an old woman. We are not sure whether the woman is whole or just like again one another head of a woman. We do not know that yet, but he's saying that I saw the face of a woman lying on the ground probably, and her face was full of suffering. Her face could be seen that she was suffering, she was in pain and anguish, but she was not uttering any sound. When we are in pain, we will scream, right? We will shout to express that pain that we are feeling, but she's not doing that. And then he realizes that nobody around them, nobody around him or he himself, they're not saying anything. Silence is common to all of them. They are all silent. They're not able to process, so that they, if we process, then we understand that yes, it's a painful situation. We should react, we should shout, we should scream. But here such a traumatic event has happened that has silenced them all. They're not able to process, and that's why they're not able to speak out about their emotions. They're not able to express their emotions. Even though they're feeling a lot of pain and suffering, they're not saying anything. So silence is common to them all. I heard no cries of anguish or a single word. Nobody was saying a single word or even uttering any kind of painful cry or shout. Nobody is doing that. They are all just silently in a blank parade walking to the hospital, in probably we can assume in desperate hopes that they get the care and the help that they need in the aftermath of the dropping of the atomic bomb. So till the end we see that they don't know what has happened. They just know that it is bad, it is destructive, and they are just trying to process and just move forward and go to the hospital to receive the care. So that is where the poem ends in a very poignant manner. So let us quickly write down the words we have come across over here. So we are having the word shuffle. Shuffle means to walk. Here, shuffle means to walk in a clumsy way. So you're not walking straight, maybe, or you're not walking in the way you generally walk. You're walking in a clumsy way. Then we have dismayed, shocked and disappointed. So the person is shocked and disappointed to see the woman and child in such a state, naked, right? So then we have gaze, look, or eye for that matter. So he turns his eyes or he turns his gaze away from them. Then we have marred. Marred here means covered. So the face of the old woman was covered with a lot of suffering and pain, but she was not making any sound. And the last word that we have is anguish. So anguish here means, again, pain. Lot of pain. It's called anguish. So let us discuss the poetic devices that have been used so far. I think we have already discussed the legs stiffed with dried blood rebel, the legs rebelling, that is a personification, as well as my mind ran at high speed, my body crept behind, that is also a personification that has been used. Then comes the next important poetic device, which is the comparison of people with ghosts and scarecrows. That is a metaphor that has been used to compare the people with ghosts and scarecrows. And the point of comparison being that ghosts and scarecrows are very odd looking. They are, their look is not normal. So when he sees all these people with their hands outstretched, he can only, guess or compare them with ghosts or scarecrows. So the one about ghosts and scarecrows, that's a metaphor. Then we have again the word parade. The use of the word parade here is ironical. It is an irony because it's a verbal irony, because parade is generally taken out on a happy occasion, and here the situation is far from happy, right? Then we have again, last, silence was common to us all. This part here is again a personification. Silence has been personified here. So these are all the poetic devices that has been used by the poet in the poem. And that brings us to the end of the poem, A Doctor's Journal Entry for August 6, 1945. So to summarize, this is a poignant anti-war poem written by Vikram Seth to highlight the senselessness of war and the aftermath of such a senseless thing that happens, and it affects so many people without us realizing. We can sit in our desk, behind our desks as important people, and order for a war or order for an atomic bomb to drop, right? But what the people who are affected, what they go through, that is what has been expressed in such a poignant manner, in such a beautiful manner, right? Painful even. You can imagine while you're reading the lines, it is very much visual. You can imagine what these people might have gone through, even if you yourself have not seen anything like that or heard of anything like that, right? You can imagine what the doctor might be going through, or what any other person over there might have gone through during that time. So it's a very powerful message that is being propagated by the poem, the anti-war sentiments. So to discuss the theme of uh, the story, the poem, we have the first one being the effect of war on common people. So 1945 marked the sixth and the final year of the Second World War. So by August, Germany had already surrendered to the Allies, but Japan refused to do so. This is all part of the historical context, right? So this was the official decision of the Japanese administration, but it did not necessarily reflect the attitude of the Japanese public. The people were not involved in that decision. As I said, you can sit behind a desk and order for anything, right? But the people, they are not involved in it, and it is the people who are suffering because of that. So it is not the people who are sitting behind their desk, they are not getting affected in that way. The common people, they are getting affected, right? So as a result of this Japan's refusal to surrender, the United States dropped the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Hiroshima was hit on 6th August and Nagasaki was hit on 9th August. So then it was largely the civilians who were killed or maimed for life. Maimed means injured, right? They were injured for life. Even after generations after this horrific incident, people still suffer from the after effects of that radiation, of the nuclear effects, right? So and in any case, it was not the decision makers who suffered, but the common people. So that is the one of the major central theme or idea of the poem. And then it also talks about the immediate response to nuclear bombs. In this poem, Seth accurately he describes the reaction of the citizens of Hiroshima, in aftermath of the nuclear bomb. This was the first and the last time in history that nuclear weapons had been used, as I had said in my earlier video. So the citizens had no previous experience of it. They could not figure out what had happened to them on that fateful day. They were shell shocked, as is very evident from the doctor's reactions, right? They could not speak. Their silence is captured very well by Seth with the use of his masterful use of his words. It is used as a symbol to raise awareness against the use of weapons in war and war in general, right? So one of the themes is the senselessness of war, as I said. So that brings us to the conclusion of the poem, A Doctor's Journal Entry for August 6, 1945. I hope you have learned well from these videos. I hope these videos have helped you in some way. If you have any doubts, you can always let me know in the comment section, and I'll try to clarify that to you over there, or maybe make a separate video if it requires. And as I said, in this video, you will find in the description a Google Drive link that will have the notes that I have prepared, the detailed notes that you can refer to for your answering. If you want to write proper answer, proper structured answers, and also you want to get some questions, extra questions apart from, I'm hoping that you have a workbook with you, treasure chest workbook, where you are solving the questions. But if you want some more extra questions for practice, that will be there in that document. So you can access that Google Drive link, and you can download that notes and get a printout of it if you require, and you can study from there for your examination.